We began by congratulating the actor on her new baby, who was just born in August.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
How's that going?
I mean, I haven't slept properly in 8 weeks, but other than that, he's amazing and he's very sweet. So.
Other than needing every part of you every moment of the day, it's been fine.
It's a real life changer, isn't it? Like nobody quite can prepare you, no matter what they say. You're like,
nope.
What? Yeah,
not at all. So before we by the way, even get into this, arguments on the internet, because it's always a good place to have a discussion. The pronunciation of your name, Caitriona Balfe.
Yeah.
Just clearing it up now.
Yeah. I know it's. I mean, I guess because I've had it all my life, you never think it's that strange, but yeah, it really throws people.
Yeah, I've heard variations, and it gets very interesting.
Yeah.
All right, so let's start here. Congratulations on your performance in Belfast. It is incredible, and you are incredible in it. How did this fall into your lap? How did you get involved with this project?
Some magic fairy. I don't know. It was right as we came out of lockdown, the first lockdown in the UK. So I'd literally been staring at the inside of my four walls of my apartment for 4 or 5 months, and my agent rang and he's like, there's something that I just got a call about. I'm going to send you through a script. We don't know what's happening yet, but I'm just going to let you read. And so I got this gorgeous script, and I've been looking for something to do in Ireland since I started acting, and nothing's ever really happened. And I just read the script and I got so emotional. It's just such a gorgeous script, and I was in tears by the end of it. And then it all happened fairly quickly. I was coming down to London. We'd sort of been released. And so my husband and I went down to London, and we were actually going to take a little holiday in the country for my first wedding anniversary. Okay. And of course, it's always like, if you want to get a role, book a trip, book something. Yep. So we were driving down the car to London, and I got the call that I got it. So yeah, and it was very quick. So then 2 weeks later, I think we were in Surrey, and we were rehearsing and shooting. So
how long was the shoot?
7 weeks.
7 weeks.
Yeah.
And then got pregnant kind of right after that, right? Pretty much.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I decided I was just having so much fun being a mother, I would just go for it. Yeah, not long after that, actually. Yeah.
It's funny. You're not the first one that's done that, because I had an interview with Kirsten Dunst this year, finished filming Power of the Dog, and got pregnant right after too. So that
really
seems to be the trend. Do your movie, have a baby.
Well, I have to say, hanging out with Jude and Lewis, who plays Will, and Lara, who plays Moira, I think that has to have a good effect, because they're the most amazing kids. Their moms were so cool. I was sort of in a bubble with them, and I think it gives you a kick. Just be like, go do it. Why not?
Awesome. Well, let's talk about this cast, because the cast is so amazing. It's a wonderful ensemble. And you get to play mom to probably the cutest kid that's happened in quite some time, little 11-year-old Jude Hill, who just good, just naturally, just a natural at this. Just runs away with it. How was it working with kids? Because kids are always interesting to
I've worked with a lot of kids before. Jude was a dream. I mean, he's and I have to credit his mom. She was there, and I mean, it's he is this kind of kid anyway, but every single day prepared, excited about being at work, in a great mood, having fun, never complaining. He was just brilliant. And I think it always, when it's great with kids, it's the best thing in the world, because it just keeps everybody free, and it keeps everybody light, and you can't take yourself too seriously. But he's very dedicated as well. So we all had fun, and we were all having a lot of laughs. But then he was always on it when we started, so it was just great.
Yeah. So he's this adorable kid, and then you and Jamie Dornan, two perfect looking humans, get to play his mom and pop. How did the dynamic between you and Jamie work, finding that chemistry? Because you guys also, there's like this friction in the film, and without giving anything away, is a friction in the film between you two. But then it all culminates in this beautiful end sequence that will make people's heart like just.
I do love that.
Yeah.
It was great with Jamie. I think it sounds, I don't want to sound like, oh, everything was amazing, but it kind of was. I think it just felt really special. Like maybe it had to do with just the timing of everything. Everyone had been off work for so long. We came to this set. I know everybody felt such an emotional investment to the material. I mean, even though this is Ken's story, I think all of us felt a personal connection to it. So when we got there, everybody was just so open and so eager to like get stuck in. And I think also one of the first days, Ken had Judi, Ciaran, Jamie and myself in a room. And we just sat there and he would ask us questions about our childhood, about our parents, about our lives and different situations and how we felt about situations. So very quickly, we all sort of got to know quite personal things about each other. And I think that really, takes down any barriers. And then I think the next day, Jamie and I had to start dancing. So if anything gets you to know somebody quite well, go for a dance rehearsal to two people. Well, he said he wasn't a dancer. I've since seen Barb and Star, so he's a liar. But dancing would not be I am not one of these people who was at dance school as a kid. So yeah, it was very funny, Jamie and I trying to learn our routines, but he's the most easygoing. I mean, apart from the fact that he's super talented, he's just like such an easygoing guy. And it was very easy to get along together. And I think we have a similar upbringing and a similar background, actually, even though we never crossed paths, we have a very similar sort of life. So it was just very, very easy.
I know. I hate how nice of a guy he is. It really just
kind of sickeningly nice.
Yeah, I need him to like be a little worse. But yes, Barb and Star Go to Vista Del Mar like will literally.
I mean,
it's his gift to cinema.
I'll never unsee that. I'll never unsee that sequence.
and it was in the middle of a pandemic, and it just like it took. I forgot everything. It was great. All right, so going back to you. You are very vulnerable in this role, have a lot of big moments, and breaks your heart at times. Where did you find a lot of Ma? Especially, I think it's interesting. It's pre you becoming a mom, and I'm not saying that like you have to be a mom to find like a character, but there is maybe like there was this kinship. Did you have like a similar understanding of Ken's mom and what she was going through during that time?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think it's twofold. I think, first of all, there's the very close and personal. I thought of my own mom a lot. My mom left sort of her support network and her sisters and all of that when I was a baby, and we sort of moved not very far, but in Ireland, this was like, you're leaving and you're going 2 hours up the road. But I thought a lot of my mom, and I think, maybe also being the age that I am, I was already looking back and thinking about my mom when she was raising us and how she must have felt in certain circumstances. But definitely, I thought a lot about her. But I also, I did watching a lot. There's so much footage of Northern Ireland at that time and women in Northern Ireland at that time. And they love to talk. And so I would just watch so many interviews or so many bits of footage of women. And I just had so much just empathy and sympathy, and it just broke my heart what the women of Northern Ireland have gone through. And I think of Ma in that time and how difficult that must have been, and that decision that she had to make. And just also, having this thing come into your community and rip it apart. I mean, that's the most heartbreaking thing, and to have to protect your children from that. So, in one hand, it was sort of this emotion for the women of my country, but in another way, it was also my own mom, and just thinking back to her life and what she was going through. So it was a bit of both.
Yeah. Oh, no, thank you for that. When I look at what Ken brings to the story, and this is a very personal story for him, and as someone who speaks a lot about diversity in Hollywood, the conversation always seems to be two conversations are happening at the same time. But this is the highlight of that. This is diversity because I'm American. I was born in America, and I don't know a lot about Ireland or what was happening during that time. Since watching the film, I know Ciaran and Jamie. Ciaran was born in Belfast, Jamie in the suburbs. But I'm also very bad at geography. Where were you in the construct, I guess, of Belfast?
So I'm about an hour and a half south of Belfast, but I grew up just the other side of the border. So I grew up in the Republic of Ireland, whereas they were all in Northern Ireland. But, when I was growing up in the 80s, it was super heated, and right on the border is, it was that whole time, it was very fractious during my childhood. And my dad was a Garda sergeant, so he spent a lot of time working on the border. And, I don't think anybody from either Northern Ireland or from where I grew up, I don't think you sort of go through that without it affecting you in some way. My dad was transferred up to the north, like up to the border when I was a baby. That's why my mom sort of had to leave all her family. So, yeah, so even though the circumstances are different and I'm not from Belfast, there's things that resonate with me from the script, and you just, it's so close, and you just have this, I don't know, you just feel so bad for everyone who went through it. And obviously now we know how long that lasted, and the amount of pain and the amount of suffering that everyone went through for, it's still not fully resolved. So it's just, there's a sadness there as well, I suppose, that this was allowed to happen to this beautiful community.
Yeah. And where I was going with that, with the question of diversity, is that I was just reading, I didn't get to that actual part. It sounded like it came out of nowhere. But when it comes to that diversity, as an American, I don't know about what happened there, and this is resonating with American audiences. And too often, European and Americans don't seem to have a good dialogue about. We have different ideas of our cultures and our upbringings, and Irish has one kind of very stereotypical look, here or from an American perspective, but you come from a big family. So what does this film say about your culture and about your life in Ireland that you want American audiences to get from the film?
Well, I mean, I think anyone can see how it might resonate right at the moment, because I think, as you say, Ireland looks like one tiny small country from America. We all look the same, probably, and you see how that was split apart by this minuscule difference in ideology. And I think that that's the dangerous thing. And I think right now in America, that is happening. You're having ideology being put above family. And I think that's what, growing up in a big family and growing up, and I think what Ken's movie says is that family is so important, community is so important, and the love of that and how special that is. And that's what we have to keep focusing on, is that not our differences about, whether you support this candidate or that candidate, or a micro difference in how you think a country should be run fiscally or something like that. That's not what should be tearing us apart. It's so sad. It's like we have so much in common as people. We should be looking to each other as neighbors and looking at the good in each other. And I hope that that's what people take away from this movie, is that, if we don't check it, it can really run away. I mean, people of Northern Ireland, only know this too well. It's like once those fractures have broken, and it's very hard to put them back together again. So,
we're having that same moment.
I think the movie is so positive, and you feel the love that Ken put in, because that's what he holds on to, and that's what he remembers as now, a man much later in life. He looks back, and it's the love that's important.
Looking at your filmography, people would be shocked, as I was, to learn that this is your 10th movie only.
Is it? Have I even done that many?
According to your IMDb.
I thought it was less.
Yeah, according to your IMDb, this is your 10th movie, which is bananas, considering how, first of all, how good you are, and then also that I feel like you've just been around for so long. You know, you were already in a Best Picture nominee for V Ferrari, opposite Christian Bale and Matt Damon. Those two guys.
Those two guys.
And then now you're moving to this, but you also have a profound career on television, proven by the social media passion, and I'm using passion very loosely and very not probably the right word, of Outlander. Your fans are
amazing.
Ride or die.
They are. I love them.
Ride or die. Woo! So now to that.
You better be careful.
I am like walking a tightrope right now. What have you found yourself more? Do you have a kinship to either film or television, or are you just kind of enjoying acting no matter what it is?
I mean, I just feel really, really lucky to be working in a time where there isn't that delineation anymore, where you don't have to kind of choose. You know, I think it used to be that if you did TV, you could never do film, or if you did film and then you went to TV, it was sort of being looked down on. But like right now, it's just, you can do whatever, and that's great. You know, to have both that's the gravy, you know, because it's very different. I think there's something about starting a project with a script that is finished, and you have this very, finite story that you're telling. And so you can craft your performance in a certain way. And it's very nice to know when you go in on day one, where you're going to finish. But obviously with TV, it's such a long form, you're not sure where it's going to go. So there's something also really lovely with that. But yeah, it's good to have both.
No, it's awesome. Because you got your start modeling, and then you were studying acting as well at the same time. Was there a plan always to get here eventually? Did it come, I guess, later than you thought it was going to? Every actor has their journey, typically.
Yeah, I mean, I took a year out of drama school to go do it. Yeah, I didn't quite know that I would take a decade to get back to it, but I'm glad I did. I in my 20s, I wasn't worldly enough. I didn't know anything. So it was great. I got to go travel the world for 10 years, grow up, learn about people, and live a life and have something to actually put into my work. Then I think, I think it was a very lucky accident that it just happened the way it did.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, your first movie by accident was the J.J. Abrams movie. Super. Just wanna.
It was on TV the other night, and my husband had never seen it, and I was like, "Oh, it's on," and I was like, "I think I'm in this." No, it's not in that scene. I think I come up, and then I was like, "No, it's this," and you've got about 10 seconds to see me. It's such a sweet film.
This whole time he thought you were lying about it. He's like,
yeah.
Well, one film, what are you working on next? I see nothing on the docket, but that doesn't mean there isn't something on the docket, because this is going to build some offers. I feel like people are going to want you to do some stuff.
Well, I just, as you know, I just had a baby. So I think my head has been in that.
Congratulations once again.
Thank you. But I am going back to Outlander. We've another season to do that we start in the new year at some point. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see what's going to happen.
All right.
I don't know.
let me get them out of the way now with some Outlander questions. What can we expect in this 6th season of Outlander? Which, by the way, I can't believe it's 6 seasons already.
I know. Yeah. It's crazy. Well, it's 8 years, so it's
time is relative. It doesn't even matter anymore.
We can expect it's a bit of a truncated season, but it's chocker. There is a lot going on. There's some new people who arrive at the Ridge, and they really kind of throw things into disarray. And but for me, for Claire, it's a really cool season. Actually, it's you're going to see Claire be destabilized, I think, in a way that we've never really seen her before. And a lot of that has to do with the repercussions of what happened at the end of last season. So it's really good stuff. I'm excited for everyone to see.
All right. Anything you can share about some of the other characters on the show, in particular, like, Sam and all those?
Good old Jamie. Jamie has a lot on his plate too. He's trying to straddle a couple of different political lines. So he's on one hand trying to placate and play the British, but also he knows that the British are going to lose the war, so he doesn't want to be caught on the wrong side. So he's walking a really fine tightrope this season, and it's great. And Sam has some amazing work, and I think everyone's going to be very excited to see that.
And you haven't started filming yet, or
we haven't started filming season 7 yet. No.
Wow.
I just had a kid. Give me a break.
Listen, this isn't me. This is your fans want the show like yesterday. So they just want to see what happens next. And it's been a bit everyone's waiting for this upcoming 2 seasons, because this is 8 episodes for the 6th season, and the 7th season will be 16.
Yeah.
Making sure I
memorized that. I mean, who knows? That's
how long would you like to see the show go on? Let me end there with Outlander questions. How long would you like to see that go on and continue?
Well, I think as long as the scripts remain good and we still have new things to explore, I think that's always a good, if we can all be excited about the work that we're doing, then that's to me is gravy. So let's see.
Awesome. Let me, because I'm the Film Awards editor of Variety, I have to ask you this question. There's a lot of Oscar buzz surrounding this movie. One that it could be, I believe, is one of the front runners to win Best Picture, which will bring Kenneth Branagh a very long overdue Oscar himself. He has 5 nominations, sure. 5 noms across 4 categories, which is really interesting. He's like one of very few people that be able to do that. But because he's Kenneth Branagh, he's the best, right? But you yourself, with glowing reviews out of Telluride, which you were missed there, by the way, but I know, baby, and also just trying to get here because who can travel right now? But a lot of people are attributing your performance to Oscar attention, that you could receive a nomination for supporting actress, maybe even win an Oscar. What would that feel like for you?
I mean, I to even be in the conversation is insane to me. I didn't make my way back to doing this until I was 30. So it's crazy. The fact that I got to make this movie with the people who are in it is already crazy and makes me so happy. So I get bashful about any of the rest of the stuff. So I'm just gonna I don't know.
I will provide you, though, a very fun fact. If you're nominated alongside your co-star Judi Dench, which we genuflect when we see her because she's queen.
Very much so.
Oscar winner Judi Dench. She, first of all, it'll be like the 36th time in history that 2 actors from the same film are nominated. It happens very often than we think it does. But she will be the 2nd oldest woman to ever be nominated for supporting actress.
I'm still going to fight her, though.
Yeah.
I mean, if it ends up where we're going like this. Although she's a young
87. She's 86 now. She'll be 87 at the time of nom. So she's a very young 87.
She's amazing. I mean, you will never meet someone who is the most young-spirited, funny, wickedly funny, like mischievous. I mean, she's the most amazing woman. So let's just give it to her. Should we just
is she playing pranks on set? Is that what you're saying? Judi Dench is like pranking everyone?
She just has the most amazing sense of humor. It's just the best. I mean, and you could just sit and listen to her all day. She just is the most darling woman. So,
and I think you probably also, we cleared up how to pronounce your name. It's Ciaran Hinds or Ciaran.
Ciaran. We both have an accent in our names, and the accent elongates so his A is in oh. Look, there you go. There's 3 Irish for you.
Also, you speak Gaelic, right? I think I read that.
Tell me all about the Conching Gaelic, Sha. I just said I'm able to speak Irish. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, give a good fun tidbit in Gaelic about Outlander, just so they can lose their minds.
Oh, but then they'll translate it because they will.
There we go.
And I'll be in trouble. I'll be killed.
Okay. Just tell them what happens at the end of the season. That's it. No, it's fine.
Bhí Claire inta, oh God, tá Jarma Genta na shogam. Tá Claire agus Jamie níl sé ina chéile an fan. Right, there you go. I've said it wrong anyway, so they're never going to. It doesn't even make.
We'll take it. We're wrong with that. My final question for you, and I'm always, because I want people to also get to know you and know you through your art. What can you recall the film that did it for you? The film that put its hook, reeled you in, and said, "You're in this industry. You're an actress." That like blew your mind. It could be a performance as well. Like
I remember when I'd stopped acting and I was living in New York and I was modeling, and I remember going and getting all of Cassavetes' films and watching all of Jenna Rowland's, and I was like, just blown away by her, but also just like, I have to get back to acting. So she was the woman for me who was like, I have to at least try and see if I can do this.
Oh, that's incredible. Oh, cool.
And a woman under the influence. I mean,
it's her gift to us. I love it. So I always give also everyone we have a large platform here. Anything you want to bring awareness to, anything that you just want for our listeners and watchers to call to action, something an organization, anything that you just want to plug or put out there? Well,
I'm a patron of World Child Cancer, which is a great organization that supports cancer wards and brings awareness to and trains nurses and doctors how to be able to recognize the signs of cancers and treat cancer in the developing world. So if anyone wants to look them up, World Child Cancer, they have an American branch and it's based in the UK, the other branch. If you'd like to donate to them, please do.
That's amazing. Thank you for that. And thank you for everything you gave us with Belfast. Thank you for a very impressive 10 films so far. Listen,
I think I only speak in 4 of them. That's the other thing.
But you still got to work with James Mangold, Jodie Foster.
Amazing.
Like you've chosen well. So even as a walk-on, it's still better than most. But and then you ended it now with Kenneth Branagh, who's incredible. Thank you so much and congratulations.
Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure.